Hello and welcome to the Sports 2.0 show. My name is Ryan Ghodsian. Hyped to be here. Today we're going to be discussing some win totals for the NFC West, which is, in my opinion, the most competitive division in all of football this year. We're going to start off with the San Francisco 49ers here, who were plagued by injuries last season after making to the Super Bowl in the 2019 season versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Based on Caesars Sportsbook, they are favored to go under 10.5 games at minus 25, or you can take the over at 10.5 at plus 105. I'm going to take the over here. I think the Niners have a lot to prove this year. They're getting all their guys back. I think Kyle Shanahan is one of the best, not only play callers in the NFL, but best coaches in the NFL. I really like DeMeco Ryans as a defensive coordinator. I know Robert Saleh was a big loss after the Jets hired him as their new head coach, but I think DeMeco Ryans actually be a great coordinator this year. I really like the Niners because of their front seven. With Nick Bosa, or Arik Armstead, and all those, and Fred Warner, they just apply so much pressure on opposing offenses, and I think they're going to take away the ball a lot this year. And offensively, I think they're stacked at running back. You look at Raheem Mostert, who was a forgotten guy in the NFL for some reason. They just drafted Trey Sermon. Even JaMychal Hasty is a very good running back, in my opinion. Jimmy Garoppolo will start the season. I think if he just limits the turnovers, they'll win a lot of games. But if he does start to turn the ball over, I don't think it'll be long before Kyle Shanahan turn the keys over to Trey Lance, which is, in my opinion, where the team will take off. Kyle Shanahan has been looking for a dual threat quarterback for a very long time now, and I think he finally got one in Trey Lance. You saw some of the splash plays he made in the preseason. I think because he's starting the season off as a backup, I think that being his benefit, he'll be able to learn from Jimmy Garoppolo, learn the offense, and once they call his number, I think he's going to perform really well. Turning over the ball to the LA Rams, who have high hopes this year. They got Matthew Stafford in the offseason, which is what they think exactly what they need to get over the hump. They made the playoffs last year with Jared Goff, but they ultimately lost in the second round. Caesars Sportsbook has them at under 10.5 wins at minus 130, and the odds are against them to win 10.5 games at plus 110. But I'm going to take the over here as well. I think they have one of the best defenses in the league. They showed that last year. I think Brandon Staley, though, is going to be a loss, but I still don't see their defense dropping off too much with Jalen Ramsey in the secondary and Aaron Donald up front. I think they really set the tone for that team. Offensively, they got everything outside of the running back. I think Cam Akers was a big loss, but Darrell Henderson has shown the ability to be a good running back. The question is, can he stay healthy? They did trade for Sony Michel. I'm not sure what he will provide. I think he's just another body, to be honest. He didn't show much in New England, but it's good insurance for the Rams. The wideouts they have are pretty impressive in Cooper Kupp. I think they're going to be a good team this year. Tyler Higbee, I think, is going to have a nice season. But the reason I'm going to take the 10.5 is because of Matthew Stafford. I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. And throwing to guys like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp with that defense, giving them the offense the ball on short fields, I think Matthew Stafford is going to have a great year, especially with Sean McVay as his coach. I'm going to take the over here at 10.5 wins. Moving on to the Seattle Seahawks, who have the best quarterback in Russell Wilson in the division. They are projected to go under 10 wins at minus 130, or you can take the over at plus 110. I'm going to take the under here. I project them to win 9 games this year, so that'll be a 9-8 record. Don't forget, the NFL did expand their season to 1 additional game, so there's going to be 17 games this year instead of 16. So I think that bodes well for them winning 9 games, but I don't see them winning 10 games. Russell Wilson is obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Pete Carroll is a great coach. DK Metcalf's one of the best young wide receivers in the NFL. Tyler Lockett's a very underrated wide receiver as well. Chris Carson's a beast in the backfield. The question is, can he stay healthy? The offensive line is a work in progress, in my opinion. I think Russell Wilson was able to mask a lot of their problems over the years. But if they don't shore that up, I see them having a tough time protecting Russell Wilson. Defensively, I think they're going to be a middle of the pack team with Bobby Wagner as their main guy. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the under here at 10 wins, but I do have them making the playoffs as a 6th or 7th seed in the NFC West. So that's where I stand with the Seahawks. And lastly, the Arizona Cardinals, who I think are going to be one of the sleeper teams in the NFL. I have them finishing 3rd in the division. So because of that, I'm gonna have to take the over here, over 8 wins at -140, rather than the under 8 wins at +120. I think getting a guy like J.J. Watt on the defensive side of the ball, along with a guy like A.J. Green, is on the wide receiver corps, is going to help them tremendously in terms of not only production on the field but experience. Both of those guys have been great at their positions for a very long time now. I know they're a little past their prime, but I still think they can play. Kyle Murray is one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL, in my opinion. And they still have DeAndre Hopkins, who's the best wide receiver in the NFL, in my opinion. Cliff Kingsbury, I think, is a better coach than people give him credit for. And I really like Chase Edmonds out of the backfield. I think they use him pretty well. So I'm going to take the over here. And because I'm taking the over, I'm actually picking all 4 NFC West teams to make the playoffs this year. I know it's crazy, but there are 7 teams who make it. Obviously, 1 division winner from each, which means that all 3 wild card teams from the NFC will be from the NFC West. I know it's a bold prediction, but that's where I'm going. Feel free to disagree with me, but that's where I'm going here. With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I had a blast here. Please make sure to subscribe to the Sports 2.0 show on YouTube. Give us a follow on Twitch, and have a great day, everybody.